in this problem, we are solving for g. My 6's look like g. My g's look like 6's, but these are g's. There are 2 of them. So in our problems that we did in class, we didn't have one like this. I may have showed you an example like this. I don't remember if this. It was this not so previous. But we want to get all of the g's on the same side. So I'm going to move this term over by adding. So that this middle term cancels, and I'm left with capital N to the third equals 3g plus 5hg. Then, this next part, we have to think about this like when we distribute, we usually have something outside of parentheses, we multiply that thing to whatever's inside, and then it becomes a part of both things. That's kind of what happened here. The g got distributed. We want to undo that. So to undo that, we're going to think about, okay, if before it got distributed, there would have been a g outside of parentheses. And then whatever is left, we're going to put that inside. So that's going to be the 3 plus the 5h. So then if we're trying to get g by itself, we're going to divide this entire side by 3 plus 5h. And then this side by 3 plus 5h. Was I looking at the wrong thing again? I did go through that, but then I was looking at, I may have been looking at the wrong thing, but it's okay. Everything here cancels. So then g equals n to the third all over 3 plus 5h. And that would be our final answer. What questions do we have there? So keep this somewhere. If you haven't done this assignment, it may be helpful for you later. Alright, so we're going to review for a bit, go through whatever problems you want on the review, and then you guys are going to take your quiz. I'll say more about the quiz when we get there. So let's do this first. We won't go through every single problem because we don't have time. And I want you to still have time to take your quiz. Close out of this. Alright, so on the back, number 11, we are solving this for x. Trying to get x by itself. We have to get rid of y and c. Think about what is y and x and c all doing to each other. If they're next to one another, what operation is that? Multiplying. So to get rid of y and c, we're going to divide all at the same time. Y and c on both sides. So g over yc equals x. If I wanted to double check myself, I could put this back into the original. So this is my answer. But if I took my original problem and where x is, put this answer in instead. In this, the y is going to cancel, and the c is going to cancel to just leave g. which is a true statement. I don't know what G is, but because they simplified and they equal the same thing on both sides, I know we got the right answer here. That's a good way to check yourself. Questions on that or other questions throughout the review? 7 on the same page?
No.
On the first page, okay. I'm going to rewrite 7 on a new page in my Smart Notebook just because it's long and I need more space. Okay, so for number 7, this is negative 5x minus 3 minus 2x equals 46, not 56. What would be our first step? Distribute using the parentheses, the number outside, yes. So distribute the negative 5 and distribute the negative 4. So we get negative 5x. Be careful with your negatives. That would make a positive 15. And then 46 minus 4x minus 4. And then after that, add what on this end? Okay, so we're going to combine the terms and not add, but do exactly what it says. Negative 5x minus 2x. And then the same thing on this side. Combine our like terms. Then you have a choice. You can do this next part in 2 separate steps, or you can do them in the same step. Let's say I wanted to get rid of 15 by subtracting it over here. At the same time, I could also get rid of the 4 by adding it over. So that this becomes negative 3x, and this becomes 27. And when we do that last step, divide, what would our x be? Negative 9. Questions on that? Other questions we want to see you go over and have questions about? Number 2 on the same page. Okay. Kennedy, it might be better if you look at that screen instead of trying to do that. That way you're not doing this. Number 2 on the same page. Fine, we'll do that after this. Yeah. We'll start it here, but I might have to run. Alright, we have a fraction that equals another fraction. What is our first step? Cross multiply, good. Multiply that numerator to this denominator, and vice versa. And whether you write it out first and then multiply, or multiply it as you write it out is fine. So I'm going to write it out first. so that we get 16b minus 64 equals 3b minus 9. I don't think I did that problem right last class. Okay. And then we're moving things. Let's say I add 64 to both sides. I'm running into the number 4 box because I don't have space, but this is still number 2. And I subtract 3b on both sides. Maybe I did. So I can guess these up. And when I divide this, 13, that doesn't give me a nice number. I'm going to show you really quickly. It gives me some decimal. So I'm going to leave it as a fraction, 55 over 13. Questions on that? You said, do you think what? It also depends on how you start to solve it. If you didn't do it exactly like me, you may have gotten a negative, but then you should have also gotten a negative 55 and they would have canceled. The negatives would have canceled. But if you just accidentally put it, just double check that. Alright, on the back of this, let's do some literal equations. Number 5, you said?
Okay.
Number 5, okay. So on the back of this, number 5, this one's kind of like the problem number 11 that we did. We are solving this one for h. We got to get rid of pi r squared. What would we do there? Divide that entire thing by pi r squared so that the pi and the r squared cancel. So we have b over pi r squared equals h. I'm going to do the check your work part one more time just so you see it. If I take my original equation and instead of h, I put this new answer. So it looks like b equals pi r squared times b over pi r squared. The pi r squareds cancel, leaving this b. So I know that works. Other multi-step or literal equations. You do maybe one of each or 2 of one kind. 6 on the same page, okay. In this one, if we're solving for r, we want to get rid of everything around it, but anything directly connected to it, hold that for later, wait. But I can get rid of this single p by subtracting it to both sides. Now, if I want to get rid of the p and the t that are over there, very similar to this, how would I get rid of that? Divide. By p and t at the same time. So a minus p over pt equals r. Remember that if all the letters are confusing you, circle, highlight, underline the one that you are solving for. think about how you would solve this if it was a regular equation and start that process. Any other questions you want to see you go over how quizzes are? Three on this page. On this page. Okay. Alright, in number 3, we are trying to get x1 by itself. So we got to get rid of the x2 and the 2. What would we do first? What? So because everything is being divided by 2, I can't do that yet. We will do that, but not yet. How would we get rid of the 2? Multiply. So multiply both sides by 2. So that those 2's cancel. And we have 2m equals x1 plus x2. Then we can get rid of the other x, the x2 by subtraction. So x1 equals 2m minus x2 would be our final answer. Okay. So how your quiz is going to work is 1, it's collaborative. You guys can work with each other. However, that doesn't include Ms. Shepherd and I. We can answer clarifying questions. We can't answer, am I doing this right? How do I do this question? You can use your notes. Your notes. I don't have my notes, so I'm going to go get them from someone else now. So you can use your notes. You can use each other on this quiz. But that doesn't mean one person is doing all the work and we're just copying the answers. Because I'll take your quiz and then I'll just grade it as is. You can use Desmos to check your answers only. You still have to show all of your work. Questions on how this quiz is going to go? Okay, yes. The quiz has 12 questions. 6 for the first section, 6 for the second. Okay. When you finish the quiz, you're going to turn it into this tray right here, face down. And then you could be working on Delta Math. But I am going to give you a choice. So when we take the test, which is going to be next class, we're going to go over the quiz first. And then you're going to be taking the test. But you have a choice. You can either do a project for your test grades, or you can actually take the test. So after you finish the quiz, I will explain the project to you if that is something you are interested in. Not at this point, after. Okay. So we're going to pass out the quiz, and if you would like to go, you can grab that one.